friends are heathens, take it slow.
What is going on, YouTube? How are you guys doing today? I am working on that Civic, I promise. I actually have a trailer being delivered on Thursday so that I can load the trailer up with all of the scrap metal. Saturday it's going to be taken to get emptied at a scrapyard, so that is all fine and dandy. Things are good in that regard. But today I went and picked up, and this is mostly the reason for why I wasn't working on the Civic again today, but today I went to Home Depot and I picked up a bunch of things that I'm going to use to make these small repairs. The small repairs I kept talking about the house, and I kind of wanted to go over some of those things with you guys. So we have our popcorn texture for the ceiling in my living room. There should be a picture on the screen. I've got door stoppers. Like, a lot of the doors in the house don't have door stoppers on them. Door stoppers. A lot of the doors don't have door stoppers on them, which is a really silly thing to not have. But luckily, I don't have any holes in the wall. But these things are stupid cheap, so it's a real quick fix to throw into the house. I've got new weather stripping for the actual doors themselves because most of them are pretty messed up. I've got a ton of quarter round because there's just some places, like especially in the living room, that doesn't make any freaking sense. I've got white trim board or white baseboard with some light brown quarter round and then dark hardwood floors. So it's very, very strange that that this is kind of set up this way. So we got some darker quarter round that we're going to actually use to redo the living room specifically. That's what really needs it. And then there's a couple of door jambs that need to be fixed. The crack in the floor, it's not really a crack. It's more of like the boards separated a little bit. So those are going to get fixed. And then one of the storm doors, both of the pistons are actually damaged. And they function to a degree, but they don't lock into position. And they don't look very good. It's not aesthetically pleasing. But the aesthetically pleasing stuff is what really makes the house look like a lot of money. And that's what I definitely need. All of the money that I get, all of the money that I profit off of the sale of this house goes to pay for school in Japan. So that's really the objective. How can I spend, and not to sound greedy or shady about this, but how can I spend as little money as possible and get as much money as possible out of the sale of the house? I installed a new dishwasher in my kitchen. I didn't pay anywhere close to retail for it. I think I got it for less than half price. And it's brand new, never been used before. The stove that I have is a freaking $800 stove. I paid $80 for it. The refrigerator was a present from my father, a housewarming present from my father. They're all the same. Level stainless steel. Level doesn't really sound right. They're all the same tone of stainless steel, which is really important. And then like things like the vented hood, we're going to pull that down, sand it off, get the white paint off of it, and we're going to go with a black finish for that to kind of match the stove, because the stove is part black, part stainless steel, and so it'll look really nice. It'll give the kitchen a more modernish feel than what it currently has, and that'll help with the resale value. It'll all of the appliances being updated really goes to help push the value of the house a little bit. as long as you don't spend retail on it. If you have an older house and you go out and buy, a stove, refrigerator, and a dishwasher all to match, you're looking at a set price of around $3,000, $2,000, $3,000, depending on the brand and quality of the appliances that you go to put in the kitchen. But you might not get that much out of the house. You might only get about half of that out of the house, and so that's kind of like a losing battle. When you look at it as far as how much is it going to drop the property value to not have a matching set of appliances, or to not have updated how much is it going to drop the price to not have an updated set of appliances in the kitchen, as opposed to how much am I not going to get back for getting an upgraded set of appliances? And it's usually right there down the middle, and that's a little bit of a dangerous game, which is why I try my hardest to not ever buy anything for retail price. Now, all of these things that I've gotten, these were no big deal. I think the total cost of the quarter round baseboard and all the small accessory pieces and all of this stuff over here came to around $429. And when Marshall and I are done with the house, I should say Marshall because and people get blown away by this, but I literally have zero construction experience, none whatsoever at all. As far as home repair comes or goes, the only thing that I have ever done before is fixed broken copper pipes or brass pipes, copper. I'm pretty sure they were copper pipes. I've repaired a broken copper pipe before once. That's literally the only kind of home repair I've ever been party to. Like most of the members in my family, the individuals made themselves fairly decently as far as money is concerned, success, whatever you want to say. And none of that has ever passed on to the successive generation. And that's a good thing. I'm not complaining about that at all in any way, shape, or form. I think all of us kind of see it as a source of pride. We all took care of ourselves and made our own lives happen, and that's a big deal for all of us. At least in my opinion, it is. So I have no interest in any of the previous generation's money. But my mother, who I was actually raised with for most of my life, she did pretty well for herself, and she always hired an outside contractor to come into the houses that we were selling after we'd moved out. She would always, I guess she was getting a home equity line of credit on the current house to use the equity in the home as a down payment for the next house. So we would always move from one house into the next house, and it was a straight over move. And then after we were completely moved out, she would send contractors into the house to go and fix the stupid little things. And this cost a lot of money, but for her and what she was pretty intelligent. She worked in the mortgage industry, so she knew the ins and outs. She had lots of friends in the industry, and she was able to get things done cheaper than they would have normally cost anybody else. But at the same time, they still cost her more money than if she or I or anybody else had learned how to do it ourselves and took care of the repairs. So that is what I'm going to be attempting to do, is to be learning from Marshall. Marshall has promised to come over and help me out with this stuff on Thursday. Now, there's some stuff like weather stripping for the door. I no offense to Marshall, but that one's pretty self-explanatory. It's a really simple, basic peel and stick weather stripping. It's not going to be any problem for me at all to peel the old weather stripping off of the doors and lay some new weather stripping down. So that I will do myself. I won't really necessarily need Marshall to do that. Same with the piston repairs. I've done a couple of these for storm doors before, so these are actually not a problem. I've actually rebuilt a few of these. One of them. I've rebuilt one before. just because it was necessary in the moment. It was something that was going to get repaired later, and it didn't matter because it didn't work in the first place. So even if I had screwed it up, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. And really, that's it's just some small little stuff, but I don't have any experience in it. I'm a little bit nervous about even putting the popcorn texture on. I'm debating about whether or not I want to call a painter friend of mine, Michaela. She does a lot of painting by herself. It's a hobby of hers, and I'm debating about calling her over to do this because selling the house is such a big deal. It's not a learning experience for me right now. If this was a house that I was moving into and I wanted to take care of all this stuff on my way in, which I was not concerned about it on my way in, then I would totally be gung-ho about, I'm going to learn this myself, and if I screw it up, then I'll blow the extra money to have Marshall come in and we'll redo it again. But one, I don't want to risk the extra cash right now. Two, because I'm waiting on these repairs to get the house listed. Once these repairs are done, I'll be able to list the house and I'll be good. As a matter of fact, Monday morning, provided that we take care of most of the problems with the house, I'm going to actually be contacting the listing agent or agents. My agents is a married couple, Tammy and Terry Coleman. If you are in the Middle Tennessee area, I would definitely tell you to look them up because they are great people. They did a fantastic job of finding me this house, and they actually found me a couple of other houses that I really liked, but I couldn't get on them fast enough. The housing market in this area is very, very, very fast-paced. We are not expecting this house to be on the market for a very long time at all. And that is a very good thing. I don't really want it to be on the market for a whole long time because I don't have a job right now. It's just you guys and me, and so I'm trying to bring you guys cool stuff, and this is cool that we're doing, and I'm definitely going to be learning some things like the ceiling repair. It's mostly pretty self-explanatory with the instructions, but it does make me nervous. Again, the quality of the product that is outputted must be on a very high level, and if I fail, I have to redo it. If I have to redo it too many times, I have to go buy more product, and that's more money put into it. Pulling up the floor in the bathroom, I've got new bathroom flooring for one of the bathrooms because the wall itself isn't bowed, but when they laid the pattern on the floor, they didn't lay it straight. So it's got a squared pattern on it, and the squared pattern disappears into the wall at an angle. And again, Marshall and I measured the wall, we double checked it, we made sure, I put a laser light on it. The wall isn't bowed. It's just that they laid the floor pattern weird. But the problem is that when a home inspector comes in, that's going to throw a flag for him. The floor doesn't line up with the wall. What's wrong with the wall? The wall is always the first place that we go. When we're looking at a house, I'm not a home inspector, so I don't know why I'm saying we, but I've looked at many houses. My mother used to buy and sell them at a fairly regular interval. I've never actually lived in one place more than 4 years. I think 4 years was the longest I ever spent at one property, and I am continuing that tradition. I've actually continued that tradition into my adult life. I have still never lived in one place for more than 4 years. So, and that's not city. We've moved around in the same city or gone to a neighboring city or something like that, but we've left one property and moved into another property, and so it's kind of funny. My father was in the military, and even when my father and mother split up, my mother, I guess, kept up with the same routine. Although in her on her regard, she was improving her lifestyle. It was always an onward and upward change, and that was always a cool thing. As a kid, I wasn't worried about changing schools or meeting new people or anything like that. That didn't bother me at all. My sister, on the other hand, she didn't like it too much, but Me, I was never bothered by changing schools, meeting new people. That didn't change, or that didn't faze me in the slightest. And then while I've been in my adult life, I've not really been bothered by moving too much. So it's just a thing. It's a fact of life. The fun and strange thing about this move is I've always been, and I don't want to say I don't want to say that I'm a hoarder, but I've always been adding new things to my collection, I guess, as you will. I didn't used to have a dining room table. While I was at this house, I acquired a dining room table and a set of chairs, and they're nothing fancy, they're nothing fantastic, but it looks a little weird to have a kitchen and a dining room, but no dining room table. So one of my neighbors actually found me a really good deal. I think it cost me $50 for the whole thing. Again, not paying retail for crap, and that was a good find for me. And like my TVs and stuff like that, I've got a nice Vizio 36-inch TV in the living room that I use as a secondary monitor. Don't just leave that one alone. But I got that for I think $40. There was I've got a 65-inch TV as the main monitor in the living room, and I say monitor because I have no TV. I have no TV service. I only have internet. I've never been interested in American television programming. There were a couple of times in the past where there was a interesting show that was on, but I mean they were always short-lived. I wasn't really happy. I ended up never being happy or satisfied with the TV shows, and so obviously I moved on. But the only programming that I found on American televisions that I actually liked actually came from Japan, which, crap, that's exactly, that started this all crap. But anyways, beside the point. So I call them monitors. They might have been manufactured as television sets, but funny fact, if you're not doing high-end gaming, if you don't need a super fast refresh speed, any of that crap, TVs are so much cheaper than computer monitors, and what this ends up being is you get a bigger monitor for a cheaper price or for the same price that you would have spent on an actual computer monitor. Now, that's just the way that things are. I don't have a super high-end need for ultra-fast refresh speeds. I don't actually need all the fantasticness of an actual computer monitor, nor am I knocking those. But this is a sidetracked discussion, a tangent where we're getting off of that. Anyways, so I've acquired several things as I've gone through different houses and properties, and that's added to the number of things that I've had to move out. And it's never been unmanageable. It's always been a decent thing that it's usually a couple of hours of moving from one property to the next, and it just is a thing. But this move is so strange because I am literally going down to a couple of suitcases. I think my finite number objective is to go down to 4 suitcases. I will say that they're going to be 4 large suitcases, but my objective is to get down to 4 suitcases because that is a manageable amount of space that I can pack things into. Things like my computer, and maybe a single monitor or television to use as a monitor, but that brings in different things like I've got to get power inverters when I get to Japan. So there's a lot of really silly stuff that has to get lined up, and I want my number to be down to about 4. And that way I only have to pay for 4 checked bags when I get to Japan. It won't be too unmanageable to handle 4 bags at one time. I've actually done that before. I know I can do it, but I've only got 2 arms. And then I'll probably get a backpack as well. So it'll be a lot of stuff to travel with when I actually hop the pond, but the objective would be to have enough space to store enough in the bags that I can procure a lot of what I'm going to need in Japan, in the United States, at a hopefully cheaper price. things that I'm going to want for a while until I find something in Japan that I can use as a suitable replacement. A really stupid example, razor blades. I've got to shave. I mean, this bald head doesn't stay shiny on its own, and it's probably not very shiny right now, but that's another point. But things like razor blades, I'm going to buy a significant amount of those before I actually leave for Japan. Until I can find a place that I can buy razor blades that I'm happy with. Any other guys that shave their head or are very particular about their facial razors, you guys know that it takes a little bit of time to find something that you're happy with, and once you find that, you don't want to get rid of it. And so I'm gonna buy a decent number of razor blades before I leave. Hopefully, customs won't throw a fit over that. Why do you have so many razors? I don't know. But so this is a very interesting process to really throw everything away or sell everything, donate everything. That's also going to start happening when I get the house listed. I'm going to start going around and taking pictures like this living room set that I have. It's a nice green pleather that has been thoroughly attacked by plenty of cats. So I would probably sell the whole set for maybe $50. Something really stupid cheap. But if you're a college kid that has a cat, I am in a college town. This would be a perfect living room set for you guys to buy because you don't have to worry about it being destroyed. It doesn't have any weird foul odors. It's not completely laid open in any areas. And they're all very comfortable. They're worn in. So they're very comfortable couches. None of them are actually sunk, which is a good thing. I've got another car that I've got to sell. The fun car I'm going to keep until the end of the year, and then my best friend Nathan's getting that. And stuff like it, there's a lot of stuff to be sold and gone through and just thrown away, and it is going to be a long process. And well, I'm going to shorten that process up. If I can't sell things fairly quickly, about halfway through my contract time. About halfway through the contract period, I'm going to start throwing things away or taking them to Goodwill. I will bring the trailer back over here, and if I haven't gotten rid of the couches, I'm going to take them to Goodwill. Living room or the dining room table's going to Goodwill. The cabinets and bookshelves, and I've got dressers, I've got a ton of stuff that. If it's going to be useful to somebody and I can't get it sold, I'll just take it to Goodwill and donate it. Because it's better that it goes to somebody than, as much fun as it might be, throwing it in a fire. I'm not really that vindictive that I would feel the need to throw everything in a fire just because I didn't sell it. I will donate things as much as I can. Stuff that's useful. I mean, I've got boxes of computer parts that are old and outdated, and they've been collecting because it's like, well, I might, no. At this point in time, there will be no more computer builds. I am about to retire for the second time a media server that I built back in 2008. It was the same computer that I was using to get this channel started to render my videos. Now I've got my power server actually being capable of rendering videos now, which is pretty important. So a lot of stuff going on, and it's going to only get faster. And I keep saying that things are going to get fast, and they are getting fast. It's only going to get faster. As a matter of fact, when the house goes on the market, I'm expecting within a week it will probably have a contract on it. Finals for college students are going on this week at MTSU, the local state university, Middle Tennessee State University, which despite its name is actually a pretty proud engineering college. So that is a pretty big deal. A lot of people are going to be looking to buy new houses around this time because They're either graduating school and they want to get out of the crappy college apartment that they've been in. They're trying to get out of their dorms, what have you. Whatever the case may be, there's a lot of people that are going to be starting to buy houses now. And so this is the very, very critical time to get the house on the market. And that is what the objective is. Monday morning, phone call to the real estate agent to get them out here, start taking pictures, and get this place sold super quick, as fast as possible. And again, halfway through the contract period, whatever hasn't been sold, I'm just going to get rid of. If I completely empty this house, I don't care. I will completely empty the house. I will sleep in a car. I don't care what you think about that. Whatever I have to do to make this process as smooth and easy as possible, I'm definitely going to do. And I might start sooner than that. I don't know. I might start taking pictures of stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Depending on the weather, I'm going to be doing some cuts on the Civic. But I did promise Marshall that I was going to leave him a couple of cool cuts. And he wanted to show me a different tool that he has that might update some of my knowledge on cars, and that always happens. I always meet somebody who's not a super big car guy, and they're like, hey, have you ever done this before? It works awesome. And I'm like, no, that does work awesome. That's fantastic. And then I end up pissing off my uncle, and that's another story. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. The house is getting repaired. I'm going to bring you along for as many of those repairs as possible, but Marshall's time on Thursday is limited, so what I can record, I will record. And what I can do on my own and show you guys, I'll definitely do. I don't know how interesting a video on replacing weather stripping is going to be, but you know what? I will do it, and if you guys don't like it, don't watch it. I don't want to say that I don't care, because I do care, but I'm going to do it anyways, and props to you people who do watch. I wish I could throw out something special, like I'll give away an Xbox 1 billion or something. I don't have anything that I can give out to my channel. My channel isn't that cool yet. But we're getting there with your guys' support. We're getting there. No, I don't know. I've got, well, no, I don't know about that. Anyways, tons of stuff going on, and I will try to update you guys as much as possible. I will try to film as much as possible. The chopping of the Civic has been recorded in its entirety so far, and I intend to keep that up. I have not compiled the video yet because I'm not done yet, but the last part should be with Marshall when Marshall comes out here on Thursday. I hope to have it down to just the floorboards. We'll cut those floorboards down and throw the floorboards into the trailer, and that will be that. Excuse me. And after that, it'll be straight onto the house, and I'll load the trailer after Marshall leaves, because I'll have all day Friday to finish up the small repairs that Marshall can't do. I'll take care of those on, the small repairs that I'm capable of doing myself that I don't get done between now and Thursday, and that Marshall doesn't really need to do on Thursday, I'll take care of on Friday. Load the trailer with all the scrap metal, which I'm actually expecting a pretty decent haul. I'm pretty sure I have over a ton of scrap steel, so I'm expecting a decent amount of money off of that. I know approximately what scrap prices are right now, but when you're not bringing in any kind of an income, if you can throw away that much steel at one time, that's a pretty decent amount. I'm actually pretty sure I have over a ton, because I still have two engines that I didn't sell. I still have two engines that I didn't sell, and a ton of car parts that nobody has really found an interest in. So I'm going to throw all of that away. Like I said, I can't sell it. I'm throwing it away. Nobody takes car parts in a donation center. That would be silly. If they did, I would totally do that, but they don't. So I'm going to scrap them, use the money for the house, actually to pay bills, and we're moving forward. We are totally rolling forward on this. It is a crazy ride. I'm bringing you guys along. I'm having a good time. I am. I'm notching a little bit more every day in my excitement meter, and that is throwing me way out of whack. So out of whack, I can't even sleep right. I'm not kidding about that there, but I'll probably do a different video about that. Anyways, I will see you guys later, hopefully tomorrow. That's always what I say, but hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow, and have a nice night. Bye.
Please don't